Assalamu alaikum and hi there. Welcome back to the day 2 tutorial. Yesterday we told you about the Vlookup, the basic stuff. Today we will learn how to make Vlookup dynamic and what is the difference between the approximate match and the exact match. So let's start with the approximate and the exact match stuff. You need to note one thing, that VLOOKUP is not case sensitive. That means that if you write something like this or and then you here and you tell this to pick the value. Now we will ignore this part, or let me make one more here. So now you want to look for Umar. So whatever we write, we look up and we are looking for this from this and then the column number 2, and then we say that gives me even for exact match 0 or false. You see that the answer is not correct. Instead of this that was supposed to be the right answer, it's giving you this answer. So that means that the VLOOKUP is not case sensitive. If there is a difference in your value, like in your text, in terms of the case sensitivity only, then VLOOKUP won't work. One thing. Second, as we have seen that in this particular example, I started my boundaries or my table array from the column B and not from column A. The reason is that whenever you apply VLOOKUP, please be sure that your lookup value is the first column of your table array. That means that for this, if I select the table or set the boundaries from column number 1, that is A, then it will give me an error. So this is the limitation of VLOOKUP, that no matter what your total table array is, whenever you will apply VLOOKUP, you will ensure that the value that you are looking for is in the first column of the table. Okay? Second thing, it can only work in a certain sequence. That means that if I pick like table array like this, okay, and I say that okay, I want it from column number 1. I want to give me this to give me the region against the name and then 0. Now it gave me an error because of two things. First, my lookup value is not in my first column. So that means that no matter what, the value that you want to be the result of this particular formula will always come after the column that have the lookup value. So now if I correct it, it will be like column number B, the column number C, and then C. So now it gives me an answer, but obviously the wrong one. So these are the two things. One, that you need to remember. Let me write it here for you as well. VLOOKUP is not case sensitive. And number 2, lookup value will always be in the first column of your lookup array of a table. Okay, so this is clear. Now coming to the proximate match. Let me create another example here. Let's say this is Umar. Again, we will work with Umar. Let's change this highlighting to make it more clear for you. And this is Umar. Uh, and this is Umar Malik. No. Okay, this is Umar Malik. Okay. Or let me place it like this, that this is Umar Malik. And this time, this is Umar. Okay. So in this particular case, if you see, when you look for Umar, now it's giving you the right value because there is a clear cut differentiation in this. But if it was also like, okay, before this, let's say if it was 1, then you see now the answer is different. Why the answer is different? Why the answer is different now? You see, now let me make the formula visible for you. Okay, we are looking for Umar. It's okay. We are taking the right table array. The right column is selected, but the difference, lookup type is 1 and lookup type is 0. So the same formula here and I make it 0. Okay, you see the result is different. However, if I make it like this, okay, now your result is different. There is a particular reason for this. The reason is this, that there is another limitation of VLOOKUP. That means whenever you will use one for the one for what? Whenever you will use one for the lookup type or as the answer for the last question, then your list should be sorted in ascending order. Okay, so let's say, let's do some sorting here. Data filters, so and then sorry, the sorting, and we say okay, go and sort by serials version A to Z, and okay. Now you see the result is correct. What is the difference? So one thing you learn that whenever you will use the lookup type 1 or the answer to the fourth question of the syntax is 1, then in that case, please ensure that the list is in the ascending order and it's sorted. Otherwise, it will give you the answer, but the answer will be wrong. Let me do Control Z and explain it once again. In this particular case, what happened, it gave you the value against this matter because it was the last value in the table. And when we use the sorted list, then it gave us the right answer. So if your match type is 0 exact match, then it will not make any difference whether your list is sorted or not. But whenever you will use the match type 1 or the approximate match, in this particular case, it should be sorted. Okay, so this is like this. Now coming back to the dynamic part of the VLOOKUP. Before I explain you the dynamic part, let me explain another formula to you, that is the match function. Most of the formulas get converted from the intermediate to the advanced level based on the nesting of match function into the intermediate level formula. What does match do? It simply asks you three things. Number one, what are you looking for? Or you can say, what do you want to match from? Where should I match it? And the third is your match type. In this case, your match type is of three types, that is less than, exact match, and greater match. In this particular example, we will be using the exact match, that is 0 or false. So don't worry about the remaining two. We will explain that in some other video. So this is your match function. Let me put it here for you so that it's visible. It's color coded. So you know where the formula syntax is explained. Match function will return the numeric value. That means that let's apply the formula and see what it gives. So this is it. Like this. Before I put it into the formula is equal to match. What do you want to match? We want to match sales, definitely. From where? From here. That means it will be the list, and I want to see sale is coming at what particular number. And as I said that in this particular case, our match type will be 0. So this is like this, and it says it's sales. What if I convert it to salesperson? Now the answer is 2. Okay. If I want to again make it like sales, the answer is 3. So now it's clear that the match is giving you the answer that in a particular list, your value is at what number. So when you go for the Vlookup, now see we will use the same example of, or let's say we take the example of this region. And our region is here like this, and let's apply the formula and okay. So now what I will do is equal to Vlookup. This is our lookup value. This is our table 3. Now comes the column number. Instead of hard punching the number, I will apply the match formula. First question of match, what are you looking for? This is what I am looking for. Now see, there is no dollar sign before the column because I will be dragging it in the next column. Second question, table array. This is only the header row that we will be taking here, and then block, match type 0, and then the last question of VLOOKUP, we will say exact match. Okay, as you see, now the answer is just match, and now I don't need to apply it again. I dragged it, and the answer is like 48924. So this is correct. If I just change it in the drop down list, let's say let's go to region number 6. So region number 6 is Tahir, 31,631. So it's correct again. Now let me make the formula visible for you. Okay. So this is the, let's take it here so that it's visible, and then let's color code it. So if you want to take a snapshot, you know which formula is for which thing. And this last one is like this. This is only to give you the idea of the signs of dollar sign. Okay, so this is like this, and again color coded for you. And this was all for our today's lecture. So play with the sheet, play with the formula, try to do as much practice as you can. And for now, goodbye from us. Have a nice day ahead.